A very good morning and welcome to a brand new edition of Newsline, where we brief you on the headline-making stories of today's newspapers. I'm Arundhati Mudannayak and joining me is senior journalist Faraz Shaukat. Good morning, Faraz.
Good morning, Arundhati, and how are you?
Good, I'm doing really great. And I believe we have an interesting lineup of stories.
Indeed, indeed.
Starting off with the Daily FT, which reads, Rainbow reunites against Rajapaksa. And let me continue reading some of the headlines there. 8th January Rainbow Coalition regroups, will contest parliamentary polls as united front. Maitripala's SLP allies Rajitha, Arjuna, MKDS, Gunaseka to join alliance. And JHU signs MOU with UNP. Rajitha hails Ranil for putting country before party. So now all this a few weeks ago, they were all political enemies, and now?
Political bedmates, shall we say. The Daily FT talks about the threat of Mahinda Rajapaksa's political emergence. What do you think that could be,
So is that a threat? Is he a threat?
Well, I think there's a fear that Sri Lanka will go back to an era where various key elements of democracy were dismantled. The independence of the police commission and other independent commissions, the judiciary was meddled with, and there are other key components which civil society will be keen to maintain in its place now, because they had been dismantled, and that spelled bad news for democracy. Sri Lanka is known as a very vibrant democracy.
And that's why I'm pretty sure why Patli Champikaramika says Sri Lanka will not go back to that dark era.
Well, yes, it's difficult for Sri Lanka to go back to that dark era now that Norachale power station is working properly. But no, seriously, there is a concerted effort to ensure that Sri Lanka does not go back to an era where democracy and democratic principles have been compromised.
And from the looks of it, they seem to have quite a strong side with the UNP. And then does Mahinda Rajapaksa has a similar group behind him?
Well, clearly he believes that he does. And it will be an interesting battle as long as the people, the country, the voter, you, make sure that you adhere to the March the 12th declaration and ensure that you choose wisely. Make sure that you use your vote properly to elect responsible people to represent you in Parliament.
Moving on to our next newspaper, The Island, it says PM return of Rajapaksa regime won't be allowed, says Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe. And I think we have a picture of it. If we can have the scanned picture of the newspaper. Yeah. Moving on, in the same newspaper, it says Walasmulla police deprived former president of security. What do you think of this?
Well, it's essential to understand that the Constitution provides for anyone to want to contest an election and to seek election, and this does not exclude Mahinda Rajapaksa by virtue of the fact that he was the former president. But equally, by virtue of the fact that he was the former president, clearly there will be some element of threat against his person and on his life. And we must recognize that, be fair, and give him what is due.
So, but now when the other candidates do not enjoy such privileges as the security and vehicles and so on.
Well, quite frankly, the other candidates were not President Rajapaksa before. Mrs. Kumaratunga has her own security.
But she's not contesting.
She's not contesting, but she still has security. We must separate these two matters. One is a threat on his life, an ongoing threat, and another is his new exercise of trying to seek re-election to Parliament. Whether it's a good thing or not, that's a different matter.
So then he had asked for more security. Now it says former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's office has requested IGP Lanka to provide adequate security to the former leader as threats to his life persist. An appeal was made yesterday as the former SLP leader prepared to launch parliamentary polls campaign.
Yes, this is not for more. It is to maintain the current security that has been provided. And clearly there must have been some small palpitation and there was some breakdown, and they've they have made it official by lodging a complaint. The right thing to do, of course.
Definitely. Moving on, we have the Salon today with a very catchy headline. It says, Rajita Champika Rauf Mano Arjuna Bodhya Elephant.
Well, they have joined the
I think they had a very catchy
National
picture.
Party. And it's a very catchy picture. It shows almost everyone there, and they have all turned and returned to Mr. Wickramasinghe's fold, something that they were keenly opposed to a few weeks ago. In fact, a few days ago.
Something that we missed actually in the island. It says Mervyn makes a last-ditched attempt to at nominations, where Upeksha Swarnamali denied the nominations.
Yes. Well, Dr. Mervyn Silva has a few hours left, approximately 5 hours, to find out his fate. But having followed Dr. Silva's various moves in politics, I don't think that it's safe to count him out just yet.
Just yet. And keeping on the same note now, today is the last day for nominations, and all these speculation and these doubts will come to an end.
Well, the election proper can begin soon after midday today, and I dare say that all media organizations will be very, very busy come this afternoon.
Okay. And we have the Daily News with an interesting headline which reads, President may stay neutral. It says President Maithripala Sirisena may opt to stay neutral at the parliamentary election without overly supporting any political front. Well, that's news for us.
Well, yes, I don't really know how the President is going to achieve that, because he's also the leader of the SLFP and the UPFA and their party is a key component member of that. It'll be interesting to see what I think we're going to have Mr. Faisal Mustafa.
That's right. We have Faisal Mustafa, legal advisor to the President, over the phone, joining us over the phone. To Farah, you have a question?
Is he online?
He is online.
Good morning, Mr. Mustafa.
Morning for us.
And thank you again for being up so early. Mr. Mustafa, how is it that President Sirisena, as the leader of the SLFP, says he's going to be neutral? How on earth is he going to achieve that?
I doubt those reports for us. He's the leader of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party and also the leader of the UPFA. So I believe that he will give leadership to the party. But also there is an issue that the United National Party supported him during his candidacy. So I believe that he is scrutinizing the nomination papers and is very much involved in the process. So I believe that he will give leadership during this election.
I see. And Mr. Mustafa, how committed is your party to the March the 12th declaration and the election of fit and proper candidates to be representatives in Parliament?
I think our party is very committed that the candidates, there should be candidates who have a clean record and candidates who work towards good governance. I think President Maithripala Sirisena is committed towards good governance, so it's all part of good governance, and parties have a responsibility of putting candidates who are good for the country. Even if you look at nomination to certain individuals have been refused this time, I believe that this is part of this process.
I see. We also have a report that the former president has complained that there was some issue with his security and his complaint to the Walasmula police. How fair is it that the former president, Mr. Rajapaksa, has technically more security than the average other contestant?
I think these are policy decisions which the government has to take, but I believe that all former presidents should be protected, and especially President Mahinda Rajapaksa. He played a vital role in defeating terrorism. So I believe there are security concerns of President Mahinda Rajapaksa, and I believe that the government will be just by his security.
And finally, Mr. Mustafa, shall we ask you, what is your level of confidence for a free and fair election?
I'm sure President Maithripala Sirisena will see to it that there is a there will be a fair and free election without violence, and I think the election commissioners were taking a very strong view about it. And I think this election will be very fair, very clean, and you could see under the presidency of President Maithripala Sirisena, I'm sure we have nothing to fear.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mustafa, for joining us, and we appreciate your time.
Moving on to the next newspaper, we have Mirror Business section, which reads, how about the report to get $400 million for a ship repairing center? Now, all this time there was, saying the cost for the Hambantota port was a waste and it was profitless. And why do you think there's more money being, put into the Hambantota port?
Well, to start with, these are long-term investments and cannot be expected to give a return in the very short term. It doesn't quite work like that. But equally, what was this government supposed to do? Were they supposed to just shut it all up and forget all about it? So they've taken a conscious decision, and in fact the second phase, the water filling ceremony, took place a couple of days ago. So in the end, Sri Lanka will have another port.
So we'll hope it will be profitable in the future, at least.
Eventually, as our country's economy grows and there's a need, I'm quite sure that at some point it will come in handy.
Right. I think you have something interesting with Daily Mirror for us.
Yes, what a wonderful cartoon there is here from the on the Daily Mirror.
That's right. Can we have the... That's right.
That's
here we
the
go.
one. There you go. And it gives us a little synopsis of who's going to play and who's going to be left out. Some, like Sajin Vas and Mervyn, have been left out or apparently left out, and some of them may consider coming in as independents.
So is Domingo Silva.
And so is Domingo Silva. Not quite sure how they can get elected, but nevertheless they have a right to try, and try they may do. To add interest to these proceedings.
Right.
Shall leave you with a thought for the day. Courage is contagious. When a brave man takes a stand, the spines of others are stiffened. And on that note?
Yes, and on that note, we wrap up this morning's Newsline. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us this morning. And we'll see you again tomorrow at 7 a.m. Have a great day ahead of you.